What's up, peeps? It's your boy Rojo. Happy Sunday. Peak week for me. Those of you who don't know what peak week is, it's like hell week if you're pledging a fraternity. But on a serious side, now peak week is just an opportunity for you to tie in all of the loose strings and do everything you can to bring all of the work that you've been doing to one point to be the best it can be for one day. So, what is peak week? Well, it consists of pretty much cutting out your carbohydrates. You're eating your chicken, your sources of fats. My sources of fats is guacamole, and I found this really little nice package of guac that comes like about 7 to 10 grams of fats in it, and I try to have it with 5 meals a day with 6 ounces of chicken with one of those packages in each one. Or if I decide to add some other fats, it could be adding some salmon to it instead of just eating the chicken. So the reasoning behind that is that your goal is to deplete yourself of all of your glycogen storages. And glycogen storages, of course, is carbohydrates that's inside of the muscles, allowing you to stay full and feeling, really good about things. But here's the key behind depletion of the glycogen is that your body will retain more glycogen when you empty it. So when you deplete yourself for so long, and then you start to bring in the carbohydrates once again, it's kind of like if you had a sponge that was sitting out in the sun for 5 days, right? And it's all dry. And then you start to pour water on it and it just kind of swells up. Well, that's what happens to your body when you deplete yourself and then you carb up the day before the show, is what I do. Some people start carving up 3 days before, and I just think those are people who want to eat. You know what I mean? They want to eat the carbs and they want to get them in their system and just start to feel better. But I find that there's a lot of people will spill over. And what is spill over for people out there who are not understanding that terminology? So spilling over is when your body starts to retain too many carbohydrates and you start to retain water and your body starts to kind of look puffy and you lose that density, that crispiness to the muscles. So if you don't time it just right, every time you start to cut your water and then you start adding more carbohydrates before your body is really even completely depleted, well, guess what, man? Your body's going to hold on to that extra. And sometimes it's just not a good way to go about doing it. I respect all the people who do it because they can time it out really well, along with taking diuretics to try to get rid of any external water that they may have. But in my case, what I try to do is this: I'll deplete myself as long as I can. And if I can go 4 or 5 days before my show, which this will start for me tomorrow, right? That I'll go from Monday through Thursday, I'm not eating any carbs. My water intake will stay high. We all know that once you start taking things away from your body, it starts to hold on to it, and that's water too. So you want to continue to drink water, and it doesn't take you but a day to deplete yourself of water. We all know that how fast you can get dehydrated, right? So I will continue to drink my water all the way up to Thursday around 6 o'clock. At that point in time, I will just kind of let my body dry out throughout the night and wake up the next morning and start slowly eating my carbohydrates. Now, my carbohydrates is a dry load. What I mean by dry load, I'm not jumping right into all of the potatoes and the rice and all of that stuff right away. If I see that I need to fill out a little bit faster, I will. But most of the time I don't. So I'm about, dry, meaning rice cakes, Twix, any cereal, a candy bar, anything like that. You hear a lot of people always saying, "Oh, why are you adding all of these different sugars and sweets?" Well, guess what? That's where your glycogen level is going to come from. The bottom line is that once you introduce carbs back into your system, the diet is over. So there's nothing you can really screw up. If you think about it, you guys out there who are listening to this, how many times have you said that, oh, I feel so much better on day 2 after my show? Why? Because you've been eating and you've been carb loading and you've been doing all these things that your body's just filling up. Like that dry sponge I was telling you about, you're continuing to fill up. So why would you do all this stuff in working your way into it, adding 300 carbs and maybe pulling water, adding more carbs and pulling water? Because it's a tough way to time it. So I try to always stay, as I said, I'm being redundant, I will stay dry all the way up until it's time for me to start my carb loading. The Friday, right before weigh-in, I start eating and eating and eating and eating until I feel as though my body is looking the way I want it to look. Now, every 2 hours, I'll recheck myself. So don't think I'm just eating just because. I will eat, say, 200 grams of dry rice cakes, dry cereal, dry the Twix, all those little things like that that you can get for as your carbohydrate load that's dry, and then just watch your body fill out. Now, it's very important that you do pose. You pose in between those times just to see how your body's responding to it. And then you can continue to add carbohydrates in it. There's no water adding. The water is actually coming from your carbohydrates. So that will keep water from the subcutaneous of your skin, that's right at the top of the muscle, right? To keep you from looking flat. And people get on stage and go, oh, I was so flat. Well, guess what? People who are flat sometimes are leaner than people who are puffy. But being flat makes you look stringy. So you want to make sure that your carbohydrates are coming in slowly. Every 2 hours, continue to eat. You will find that you will be even hungrier because your body is utilizing it right now. It's not just sitting in your system. And the protein and all that stuff, loading protein and all of that, some people say fat loading. You're not getting anything out of protein when you're trying to carb up. What is protein gonna do besides sit in your stomach and be there and just be holding, and just your body's not gonna digest it all? So that's why some people go up there with bubble guts, is because they ate too much food and the protein didn't digest properly, and there you go. They're feeling like, oh my God, I missed my peak. Well, people, I'm gonna tell you right now, the secret to it all is to dry carb load. Dry carb load. And if you have to add some rice because you feel as though you're not filling out properly, go ahead and add some rice. But don't think you need to eat a bunch of protein, because what is protein going to do for you in your carb loading? What is protein going to do for you in filling out your muscle at that point? Zero. So make sure that if you're out there and getting ready for a show, try it before you do it. This works for me. I can't say what works for you. It works for me. So you might want to try it. Just deplete yourself for a photo shoot or something like that. And then on that Friday, just dry carb and eat up and watch how your body feels. Trust me on this one. I want you to go into the bottom section down there and you like, subscribe, and give me a comment on what you think about that, because it is something that works, and no one wants to put so much time into getting ready for a show and screw it up on Wednesday and Thursday because you decided that you needed to eat carbohydrates just because you're hungry, not because you needed them. So anyways, think about it. Let me know what you guys think. Subscribe, like, comment, reach out to a brother. Peace.